Yung doon pa lang sa mga bagay-bagay na yan na nakalap during the time of the impeachment trial on Wednesday, nakikita natin na hindi sapat o hindi buo ang testimony ng huling testigo ng prosecution. I would like to push back that question kasi since day one, even at to the time of the last witness, I'm referring to Attorney Wamil, wala pa pong pangalan na Vice President Sara Duterte doon sa mga dokumento nila. So it's not just the acknowledgement receipt, no, and everything else that I have said. They have not yet tied down directly the Vice President to any of the allegations mentioned under Article 1. Kaya doon pa lang, and that's precisely why I said na wag na nating pagbabasihan yung acknowledgement receipt. Pagbabasihan na lang natin yung tanong kung maugnay pa nila directly yung Vice Presidente dito sa mga testimonya nila of all the witnesses that I have presented so far. And my assessment is that wala po.
Opo, kasi
Kaya I join in your observation. I think we need to move on to the next article if that is the case.
yung tungkol doon sa Day 13 impeachment trial po dito kay VP Sara Duterte attorney, kung saan ay prinisenta po ng prosekusyon ang kanilang mga testigo para po dito sa alegasyong maling paggamit dito sa kanyang confidential funds ng pangalawang Pangulo. So far, ano ho yung assessment po ninyo?
Insofar as the testimony of Attorney Wamil is concerned, I have to give it to the defense, no? So napatunayan nila na yung mga detalye na talagang either hindi niya alam or wala siyang capacity. Ibig sabihin, it is not at this level to conduct audit beyond what we have seen on paper. And pati yung inconsistent statements niya na sinasabi niya na walang naibigay na confidential fund sa Office of the Vice President except kay VP Sara. At napatunayan naman din ni Attorney Poa na meron nga even as early as 2014 when VP Sara was not yet Vice President. So doon pa lang sa mga bagay-bagay na yan na nakalap during the time of the impeachment trial on Wednesday, nakikita natin na hindi sapat o hindi buo ang testimony ng huling testigo ng prosecution.
Opo, ayon po sa witness, puro acknowledgement receipts lang daw ang isinumite ng OVP. Sa batas ho ba? Sapat ho ba ito na itong mga liquidation documents po, attorney? Sapat ho ba ang mga ito?
Ang liquidation receipts po, the nature kasi of the intelligence and confidential fund is such that it can only be disclosed. Ibig sabihin, yung resibo na yung resibo insofar as yung mga pera na nagastos, kailangan maisuri yan sa tamang level of security clearance patungkol sa ginawa ng isang opisina who handles confidential or intelligence funds. Insofar as the acknowledgement is concerned, so long as consistent doon sa plano, insofar as paggagastos ng confidential at intelligence fund is concerned, I would like to believe that the acknowledgement receipt is sufficient, no, to prove that may nagastos at makikita kung saan ginastos. But not beyond what is supposed to have been achieved by what was planned out in this intelligence operation or confidential operation.
Opo, at hindi ho ibig sabihin na kung wala mang official receipts o sales invoices, automatiko na may anomalya. Tama ho ba, attorney?
Absolutely, hindi po ganun yung pananaw natin dito.
Opo. At yung tungkol sa sinabi po ng COA witness, itong as far as kay Wamil po pag-uusapan natin, unang pagkakataon daw niya ito na puro acknowledgement receipts lang daw ang natatanggap niya mula sa isang inaudit na ahensya. Sa tingin ho ninyo, kayo ba'y naniniwala? Ganun ho ba talaga normally yung system dyan sa COA?
I am not familiar with how the COA audits, no. I can only say na my own experience the time when I was with LTFRB. Yung COA kasi mabusisi pagdating sa mga resibo. Pero yung confidential at intelligence fund is of a different character. That's the reason why merong joint circular na hindi lang po sakop ang COA doon, pati yung DND, pati yung PNP, a role involved in how the liquidation of the confidential intelligence funds are supposed to be used and liquidated. So it's not your, if I may say, not your usual COA audit procedure that is put in place strictly. Pero you have to consider also the sensitive nature of the spending as well as the liquidation of these funds.
Opo. At malinaw din doon sa kanilang pinagbatayan, yung COA Joint Circular Attorney, na silent daw itong batas na ito patungkol doon sa paggamit naman ng mga code names. Tulad na lamang kay Mary Grace Piatos na nais pong ipapresenta nga ng prosekusyon sa depensa para mapatunayan tungkol nga dito sa kanila pong isyong tinatalakay.
Insofar as yung mga aliases is concerned, this is just my own way of asking around, no? I have some acquaintances and friends in the AFP and the PNP and who are involved in intelligence operations. And I asked them, particularly yung mga SDO na tinatawag yung Special Disbursement Officer. Why are they called Special Disbursement Officer? Kasi they are just disbursement officer for that particular special operation, no? At tinatanong ko, is that normal or usual that you use aliases? And all of them have said na usual po yan, normal po yan na naglalagay siya ng aliases doon sa tao na binibigyan nila ng pera in exchange for information doon sa kalaban, location, yung lahat ng bagay na kailangan nilang kunin in order to strengthen their intelligence operation. So normal po, wala pa akong narinig doon sa nakausap ko na hindi normal na magbibigay ng aliases doon sa mga intelligence assets nila.
Opo. At kung hindi naman malinaw pala sa circular na yon, yung joint circular na pinagbabawal ang paggamit ng aliases o itong mga code names, mas naka-advantage po ito doon sa depensa, attorney.
Mukhang gano'n na nga kasi that's the reason why I said earlier na medyo maluwag ng konti. Treating how you utilize, you spend, and liquidate confidential funds in relation to confidential intelligence operation where these funds are being used. Kaya I would understand na medyo maluwag ng konti pagdating sa treatment ng liquidation of funds.
Opo. Ngayon since hindi naman pala bawal ang paggamit ng mga code names at wala namang nakikitang irregular doon sa mga paggamit nitong confidential funds ng Vice President, ano pang issue ang dapat talakayin? May silbi pa po ba itong necessary pa ho ba itong article na ito para akusahan o labanan, i-put down po ang Vice Presidente?
I would like to push back that question. Kasi since day one, even to the time of the last witness, I'm referring to Attorney Wamil, wala pa pong pangalan na Vice President Sara Duterte doon sa mga dokumento nila. So it's not just the acknowledgement receipt, no, and everything else that I have said. They have not yet tied down directly the Vice President to any of the allegations mentioned under Article 1. Kaya doon pa lang, and that's precisely why I said na wag na nating pagbabasihan yung acknowledgement receipt. Pagbabasihan na lang natin yung tanong kung maugnay pa nila directly yung Vice Presidente dito sa mga testimonya nila of all the witnesses that I have presented so far. And my assessment is that wala po.
Opo, kasi
Kaya I join in your observation. I think we need to move on to the next article if that is the case.
inaasahan po na magiging susunod na testigo pong ihaharap ng prosecution. Another COA officer po, itong COA State Auditor na si Sailin Del Ocampo. Ano naman po ang inaasahan po ninyo sa kanya?
Ay, hindi ko po narinig yung testimony niya sa house, ano? At I don't know her personally. But if we are to follow, and I would expect that she would follow COA procedures, it would probably more of the same as what Attorney Wamil have already testified on.
Opo, opo. Attorney, para po sa inyo, alam natin na hindi lamang po ang opisina ng Vice Presidente ang may confidential funds. Yan pong malinaw kasi ang naratibo po ngayon para bang ang Vice Presidente na lamang yung may confidential funds. Di hamak mas malaki pa yung ibang mga ahensya, Attorney.
Yun nga ang nasa isip ko when you called me up for this interview. Yung Office of the President merong 2 point something billion on confidential fund and 2.3 billion if I'm not mistaken on intelligence fund. So combine this confidential intelligence information, 4.5 billion po ang nasa Office of the President to spend for this type of operation. I would await, if ever, ano kaya yung COA disclosure ng 4.5 billion of confidential intelligence fund under the Office of the President. That would be more interesting to discuss.
Opo, at hindi natin, kung maalala natin, yung confidential funds ng Office of the Vice President na ginamit niya. Mula din ho yun sa opisina ng Presidente, Attorney, na talagang last quarter, baga nasa huling bahagi na lamang ng taon. Ito talagang ginastos ng, mabilis na ginastos po ng Vice Presidente.
Tama po kayo kasi yung source na hiningi na kasi wala ngang intelligence fund yung Office of the President, at least at that time yung pondo po na hiningi ng Vice Presidente galing pa doon sa confidential fund ng Office of the Office of the President. So ibig sabihin, so talagang maraming pera yung Office of the President pagdating sa confidential fund and intelligence fund.
Opo, opo. Attorney, bago ko lang ipasa kay Partner Admar, sa tingin ho ninyo, noong ibinigay po yung pondo ng Office of the President doon sa opisina ng Vice Presidente, sa tingin po ninyo, doon nagsimula yung operation laban kay Vice President Sara Duterte para po masira po siya dito sa isyung ito?
I would not want to speculate on that, pero there were already stories na even at the time, kasi December yan even at the time, shortly after what do you call that? The inauguration of both the President and the Vice President, there were already plans on how they will govern the country. And we know what happened, how they governed the country in the last 4 years. So that one, I heard of that, but so far as whether that particular issue of giving them the confidential fund para may rason na balikan yung Vice President, I would not rather speculate on that.
Attorney, maayong buntag si Admar po ito. So kung susumahin po sa nakalipas na 13 araw na impeachment trial, kay Vice President Sara Duterte, wala pa doon sa mga inaakusan nila na talagang makakatumbok na may ginawang kasalanan may ginawang korupsyon, may ginawang maling paggastos sa pera ng bayan. Mismo itong si Vice President Sara Duterte.
Agree. I could not say anything more than that. They have not directly linked the Vice President to any of the statement of any of the witnesses thus far presented by the prosecution.
Opo. Ito pong ginagawa ngayon na pag-uusig kay Vice President Sara Duterte, like kagaya po nito na hindi pa naman talaga pinal yung pag-audit, yung kanilang mga findings, kumbaga ito po ba ay nangyayari din sa iba't ibang mga ahensya ng gobyerno at binibigyan ng sapat na panahon para ma-comply lang ito lahat pero minamasama, inaangguluhan, ginagawa ng propaganda para masira lang ang pangalawang Pangulo?
Insofar as the issuance of notice disallowance is concerned, marami po yan all across government, all across the agencies of government. Marami po yan. And having said that, as you in fact have said, binibigyan ng pagkakataon, in fact, in that notice of disallowance, binibigyan ng pagkakataon na na ibalik. But at the same time, may explain kasi hindi pa pinal yan eh. As correctly pointed out by the presiding officer, si Chis Escudero, ang hangganan nito pagdating sa questioning either audit report or notice of disallowances, dadaan pa yan hanggang sa Korte Suprema in having to resolve finally whether the notice of disallowance was proper or legal is concerned. So dito pa lang, sa ngayon, it's not for the impeachment court to resolve that, but rather the Supreme Court insofar as the notice of disallowances are concerned.